All right, first things first, I am bad at Apex Legends. I am nowhere close to the best Apex Legends player of all time, and that is okay. I feel like a lot of people don't tell themselves that. I think a lot of people want to be better than they are, but instead of actually working on the things that can contribute to their increase in skill, they are way too busy being upset about the things that they cannot control. A lot of times when people get on their microphone and talk to me in my solo queue games, it is after they've already made a fatal mistake. They're wondering where I'm at. They're wondering why I'm not doing something. They are relying on me for more than their own capabilities. And to an extent, we do need to utilize our teammates, but we also need to use our own brains. And we also need to make very good decisions in order to line ourselves up for a win in a fight. Apex Legends is not a micro game. And I don't even think it's a micro game in the slightest. That all results from where you are on the map. If you are outside of the ring fighting another team, that does not necessarily contribute to you getting to end ring and getting first place, right? Like, these are decisions that you have to make, and those decisions have to be good, and those decisions have to keep stacking up in order for you to get to the point where you are shooting your gun at somebody else. And if you watch a variety of content, because there's actually surprising amount of people who are at average elo that are just very good at the game in terms of the micro. But in terms of macro play, I don't think that players can discuss enough, because it's an FPS. FPS players aren't really big brain, if that makes sense. That's coming from someone who's spent most of his life playing League of Legends, which is a MOBA game, which is even more intense when it comes to where you're positioning at what time. There's literally a timer in the game counting up, and every single one of those seconds matters. But there can be downtime in Apex. There can be entire spans of minutes where you're not fighting with anybody else, or you could just hot drop and instantly die for 50 minutes straight and then call it a day. The approach to Apex is very nuanced, and I think that a lot of people aren't respecting the fact that they have a lot more agency with their body in game. The ability to ping the map, say what you want to do, go where you want to go. A lot of people will just stick to their teammates and sort of not break out of into their own personality, if that makes sense. I think for that reason, a lot of us are just bad at the game. There's a lot that I can do because I'm this very macro focused player, but then my weakness will be I get to end game and I can't land my bullets the way that I want to, or I can't dodge enough bullets, can't run away from the enemy team, can't handle a 1v2 situation. These things happen to everybody. I watch people like Mandy, I watch his Wattson daily, and they miss a lot of shots. And their narrative isn't, God, my teammates are so bad. It's, I'm so bad. They take the accountability. They know they can do better, and then they try and perform to the standard that they have for themselves. And that's a big reason why I keep queuing up. Because whenever I'm unleashing 50 bullets out of a fully stocked Spitfire and I miss 30 of those bullets, I tell myself, God, I am bad at the game. I need to do better. And it feels good to see myself improve, even though I'm still not at a point where I can make every single thought in my head play out into reality. I think that when you take any game, literally any game, and listen to the ways in which players speak, they will always boil down to either they can take accountability for their own gameplay or they can't. And 90% of the time, at least 90% of the time, they can't. They can't do it. If you mess up and it's so egregious that you have no choice but to accept the fact that you messed up, there's still a lot of people who would rather find an excuse. And that's okay. That's your prerogative. But if you're genuinely locked in on your gaming experience and you're saying, I'm queuing up for a competitive game where other people are trying their best to win, or people are not trying their best to win, then I have to have an attitude that matches that, right? If you drop and you shoot a guy that's AFK, you're not going to tell yourself that you're super good at the game. But if you have an Axel sliding on you and you take the 1v1 and you beat them, that's going to feel good because you've actually accomplished something, right? So I feel like people have to stop having what I like to call POV fatigue, where they're so locked into how they think and how they feel that they can't see the broader picture and they can't find ways to improve, to fix the things that are frustrating them. Because at the end of the day, you're the one holding the controller, you're the one aiming the mouse. You have to figure out how to take back that agency. If there's 3 players on your team, you have like 33% of that team's agency. You get to make 33% of those choices. And it's okay to not align with everything that your teammates are thinking or doing. You should always prioritize trying to figure it out yourself. And that's what's usually considered to be playing with intensity. You know, actually taking upon all of the actual stress and coming out with an outcome that you can be happy with because you tried your best. I hate the fact that most comments that I've seen after this solo queue test come down to this idea that because 3 Predator players are in a lobby and there's a couple of Predator teams, that Diamond players are just completely useless. They can't do anything but get farmed. I saw this comment under an Imperial Hal video, and in that same video, I looked at the teams that they killed in one of the games. And in one of those games, the Apex Pred teams were the ones that were more aggro, and they actually killed a couple of Pred and Master teams. They weren't just looking for and killing Diamond players. And it's the same way. Diamond players were approaching and losing, but they also took those risks. And I think that solo queue is probably the best direction to go in because, again, it's a competitive ranked ladder. It's not really fair that people get to cheat. They banned a bunch of console players for cheating. It's not fair that people that play on controller on PC can min-max and try and, aim assist their way into free wins. I don't think that's fair either. When you're at the point where you're minimizing your screen and maximizing whatever settings you can to get an advantage, that just doesn't sound legit, right? It might be allowed and it might be fair to the extent that you're not actually importing things that will alter the game, but it just doesn't seem honest, I guess is the best way to say. But that's okay. That's other people's prerogative. People using Zims aren't the reason why you are your rank, unless you're using a Zim. The fact that there are cheaters, the fact that there are boosters, the fact that there are 3-stackers is not the reason why you suck at Apex. The reason why you suck at Apex is because you suck. And you're a human being. And we suck at things. We're terrible at something. We all have different talent trees. And we all have things that we are capable of and not capable of. I watched someone play League of Legends while paralyzed today. They used their mouth. And a mouth controller where they have to blow and suck into different holes and move things with their chin in order to play the game, and he won the game. So what's my excuse for losing games and being upset? If that guy is playing the game, then why can't I, with my fully able body, just play the game and just do my best and try and learn from my mistakes? People who are in Masters Plus, all of these big personalities in high elo have been that way for a couple of years, regardless of the rank system, regardless of the meta. Even when Axel came out, Axel being out did not change anybody's rank. It didn't lower anybody's rank because they have to now lose to Axel and Axel Ultimate. Even if they don't like it, and most people don't. I mean, I don't think anybody likes Axel. Seer is currently back in the meta. So, I guess Pred players are now gonna have to demote because they have to fight against Seer. Doesn't make sense. When you make these excuses, it just doesn't make sense. So what is your excuse if you're a Diamond player and you solo queue and you lose to his Watson or Mandy or Hal or any of these high elo players. If you're getting farmed in your lobbies, who cares? You're not supposed to be better than them. And if you want to be better than them, start working harder. Start playing harder. Start making your own choices, and try your best. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I don't agree with everything that makes up the rank system, but I am choosing to play it. I am choosing to play it. If I were trying to play in these higher elos, for example, and I would want it to be a solo queue ladder. I would want them to take away the ability for people to play with their friends in solo queue. They should also just implement another queue for duo trio. And I mean, it's because I played League of Legends for so long. Same reason why I would have liked a skill-based matchmaking system. I actually didn't mind it. It didn't work the way that they did it, but the only argument I have against certain things is the fact that the Battle Royale is more arduous. It's the fact that there are 60 players that you now have to balance around instead of just 10 or 12. You have to now take into account the ranks of 60 people and put them all together. That's going to strain the system. It doesn't matter if Apex has 250,000 players or 1 million players. On average, that's going to be harder to do than it is for League of Legends, where you have, say 250,000 players plus, and you only have to sort them in groups of 10. That's obviously going to be way trickier. If you think about it in terms of a bag of jelly beans, if you try to sort them by color and then put them in the bag, it would be easier to filter that if there were only 10 jelly beans in a bag. If there are 60 jelly beans in a bag, you're going to have to, pull from what is there at the time, right? Let's say that you run out of greens. You're going to have to pull from a different color and to fill the quota. That's how I feel about it. I think that it would be cool to have that sort of solo queue. I don't mind investing in a game solo, even though I would have more fun playing with my friends. Because when you sign up for this stuff, your mindset should be on having fun, but it should also be on competing. That's like going to a pickup basketball game and then nitpicking the 6'3" guy that with more natural talent, blocking all your shots. I mean, you just look like a coward. You would look like a complete fool if you did that. You can't just go out and say, well, I don't want to play with the 6'3" player because he's just taller. He's better than me. It just doesn't make sense. But when we take it away from traditional sports and we go into esports and we go into gaming, we like to make as many excuses as possible. And people, they entertain these excuses because it's a different kind of game at the end of the day, right? But if you go out in public and act the way that you do in Apex Legends, you're either going to get your ass beat or you're going to be made fun of for your cowardice, for making excuses. Nobody wants to be on a team with somebody like that. Nobody wants to play with somebody like that. You're not going to have friends acting like that. But on the other end, if you're playing with someone who is just, 5'9", 5'10", if you're out on the court with someone like that, and they're trying to push you to do better, that also doesn't mean you should, cry and complain. Oh, he cares too much. He's trying too hard. Everyone wants to win. It's just not, it's not worth complaining about that somebody is going to have investment in what they do. That's healthy, especially for men. That's really good. You should take investment in everything that you do. You shouldn't just do things on autopilot, right? You shouldn't doom scroll your life away just because, well, I could play Apex Legends. I could play Overwatch, do it because you want to do it and do it the best that you can. And if you don't feel up to it, do something else. It's good to have different outlets for things. It's good to do different things. You shouldn't waste all of your time being upset and complaining and, not being invested in the things that you're doing. I also don't like the idea that during the solo queue test, even high elo players said that it's basically still 3 stacking because you're all, pred. Again, ideally, they find a way around this, but I feel like if a Pred player got matched with 2 diamonds and it was normal for them to have to carry way more of the weight due to the difference in experience level, that would be just as much of a problem as 3 Pred players who have similar skill playing together. I don't think that there's really too big of an issue with that. I think it's more of an issue when it's the players that you know and that you play with on a daily basis versus people who might not even have a 3-stack. I do think that that's a problem, right? I think that that does remove a little bit of competitive integrity. But again, Apex Legends, every game's a team game. I don't care about the whole team game mentality. It's okay for Respawn to create a solo queue where you are in charge of your decisions and you don't get to crutch on the fact that you have 2 other players that you know very, very well carrying you. I don't like that in Pokemon Unite. I don't like that when it comes to the argument of being boosted or boosting people. It's consistent with 3 stacking versus solo queuing in a queue that offers both. They should just split the queues. It's healthier. It's more competitive. It'll probably get higher elo players more invested in their own rank. And then if they want to play with their friends, there should be a way to do that. And a different ladder for that as well. And then you can speed run. Oh, let me see how fast I can hit solo. Oh, let me see how fast we can hit trio. And then, they can make a bunch of content. It is what it is. It's not a big deal. They could definitely do it. But if you're playing in this system where people can 3-stack against you, don't complain. Who told you to play? Oh, but I want to play Apex. It's not fair that I don't get... Well, too bad. There's probably a billion things about the game that you don't like. You probably don't like getting bang smoked. You probably don't like getting ulted. When you're trying to... Sorry. You probably don't like getting Axel ulted when you're trying to make a play. You probably don't like when people get away on altar. You probably don't like it when your teammates pick Lifeline and then they res you in the middle of a fight and you get shot and die anyways. There's probably a billion things about Apex that you don't like, but you're still playing the game. You probably don't like getting Kraber shot. You probably don't like when your teammates flame you. You probably don't like this. You probably don't like that. I could go on and on, but at the end of the day, you have to just take accountability for your gameplay and your decision. Nobody told you to queue up. Nobody told you to play the game the way that you play it, right? It's all up to you. You decide what you want to do and just stick with it. Just commit to it. If you like the game, if you think the game is fun, play it. Get more comfortable with your mistakes and embrace it. You get mad. Feel bad about it. But don't get mad at other people. Get mad at yourself. Challenge yourself. Tell yourself that you can do better. Tell yourself that you will get better. You'll keep trying. You'll keep doing your best. And that will heal a lot of the pain that comes from getting shit on. Because, for better or worse, everybody gets shit on at some point. It shouldn't be a big deal. So I think I talked about everything that I wanted to. I only have 4 bullet points here. So I had to extrapolate sort of my entire argument around that. But if you want to know why I made this video, I will link a Marvel Rivals video where somebody talked about a lot of the stuff that they didn't like about Ring. I think the last thing, actually, that I really think is important, we need to stop using this sort of buzz term when it comes to engagement-based, like design, right? Things based on engagement rather than, people just creating a game that works. Because if Respawn and all these other games actually focused on their target demographic, they probably wouldn't even have to do anything. They would just ship something like twice a year and just say like, here, go play the game. There's a lot of games that have abandoned their player bases. There are a lot of scummy types of games that you can think of, ones that make you buy everything for the ability to play DLCs over and over and over again. You have gacha games that make it so that your gameplay experience is completely based on what you end up pulling, and if you don't spend money, you're not going to get all the pulls that you want. I think that Apex is fair. I don't think that there's any problem with them wanting their player base to log into the game. But I also don't think that ranked is based on that at all. I think that's a complete myth. Even if they admit to it, I don't think that means what people think it means. Because if they just wanted you to play the game for as long as possible, they would make everybody tankier, right? They would make it so everybody has more shields. They actually removed shields from the game. They removed helmets from the game. They completely streamlined. You can get like 4 to 5 bars of health, based on like what amp you have, what character you're playing. So time to kill on average is probably down from where it was over the years. They removed the gold shield, so again, that's another way in which games are now faster paced. If they really wanted you to stay, they would actually make every single round longer. So if they've done that, let me know. But I mean, I feel like the game pace is pretty good right now. Guns would take more bullets in order to. It would be systematic. It would be more than just your ranked points as well. There would be a lot of things in play that you could point to and say they're drawing out games so that people play more. People don't have that mentality at all. I guarantee you, not a single person that I've seen complain about this actually has that mentality in mind. They're just saying that the game doesn't care about player experience so much as they care about player engagement, and that's just not true. I mean, that's a terrible argument. I mean, you would have to really dig and find examples of Respawn actually forcing players to play for longer than they need to. And you might say, well, I'm not getting the rank that I deserve. Bullshit. You suck at the game. That's why you're at your rank. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you're Apex Predator and you're like barely in the top 500, or if you're fucking bronze. You're just shit at the game. You're not as good at the game as you think you are. Stop making that excuse. It's not Respawn's fault. It's not any of these companies' fault that you're just dog shit. Just suck it up and do something about it. Because there's a 13-year-old right now posting content in Apex Predator. Like, if you're gonna sit here and cry and complain, seriously, get it together. There's a literal, there are kids now who are training their brain and their muscle memory to be better than you at Apex Legends. And you're sitting here as a full-grown adult crying that Respawn is not going to give you the rank that you deserve. Get out of here. You're actually garbage. Like that, like, it's absolutely laughable that people think that how a company handles their systems is the reason why. They say, oh, they only match me with gold player. I heard that one, actually. I might have that recorded. Someone literally saw my friend's rank. It's like, oh, yep, see, I got a gold player on my team, so of course I lose. Why am I getting ranked with gold players? And then I think I said something along the lines of, because this is your MMR, this is your skill level. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, there are literal 13-year-olds solo queuing in Pred right now. Get off your horse. Stop thinking that you're good. You're not good. We need to all just admit that we are not rank 1 Apex Predator. And most of the time, being rank 1 Apex Predator, that is where it really does become a grind, which it should be. I don't think that players should be given their rank just because of prior engagement with the game. I think that it's actually super, super important that players understand that time investment equals good things in life. Like, you can't say, well, I want to have really big muscles, but they want me to put in like 7 hours a week at the gym. Yeah, no shit. It's the same thing in Apex. If you want results, you have to put in effort, and effort also includes time. Like, that's another terrible excuse. If you tell yourself that, stop being stupid. If you want to be higher rank in Apex, that means you do have to play more time. Because on average, you are at the skill level that you deserve, and in order to get more, you have to work more. That's just how it works. If I played Rookie right now, to get back to Plat probably wouldn't take more than 50 games. Right? When people speedrun to Pred, it might take them a lot of time. I mean, Timmy released like a 3-hour video about his last speedrun And I think it was like 40 plus hours. It's earned. You put in the time to get these results. You don't just get it because you want it. And it's not fair that you don't have it. Like, that's just not how it works. That's stupid. That's like the like that's Zoomer talk. Let's just be adults about this. We all suck at the game. We all have a limit, and time is part of that. I have to work a job. All of my friends work jobs. Most of my friends work jobs. Sorry. Yeah, I was right the first time. If you just put in time, that does not automatically mean that you get what you want out of it either. You can spend 50 hours in a month playing Apex Legends and not see any growth because you're still making excuses. You're still playing low intensity. You're not taking care of yourself. You're not actually prioritizing the times in which you're actually engaged with the game, and you're not seeing your mistakes and fixing them. Like, if I played Octane for 50 hours over a month, right? And the entire time I am running straight at people with no nuance, just running at them, I'm not always going to see good results. And it's not going to be enough for me to be better at the game, right? I might be mismanaging my HP bar and overstimming. I might not be utilizing my mouse and keyboard to the fullest extent and tap strafing, right? Like, there are things that you can do to change it up. On average, you're not really considering that you are the reason you are your rank, and that you are the reason why you're not seeing better results. And I also don't think that rank should be casual. I don't think that you should be playing ranked with a fully casual mindset. Now, I understand that to an extent I'm a casual player because I don't necessarily hard grind the game. I might play for a couple of hours at a time, and I have other things in my life, but I consider myself dedicated to ranked. I only play ranked. I try to win my games. I try to figure out things. I'll talk for like 10 minutes after a game about what went wrong and what I could have done better. There's investment there. You should have some level of investment. It doesn't mean you have to be a tryhard, by in the sense that, like, you dedicate every single waking moment to Apex Legends, right? You just shouldn't have a careless attitude about it. And I think I'll just wrap it up there because I'm approaching the 30-minute mark. I don't think anyone's going to really watch this anyways. But if you made it this far, just know that your time was valued and appreciated. And I want to put this message out there regardless because people need to hear it. And until next time, take care.